I'm surprised that the wall moves.
Yeah, I didn't realize the whole wall moved. It's pretty cool.
Pretty smart.
Okay, October 16, 2021, mayor race, candidate Robert Stowe. Let's start.
Good morning. Welcome to my Meet the Candidate Coffee Chat. I'm going to take my mask off so that you can see me and hear me a little bit more clearly. There we go. U.S. Navy veteran. Okay, my name is Robert Stowe. I'm running for the position of mayor for the town of Cathlamet. I have lived in this area for approximately 5 years. My wife and I chose to come here, purchased a house in Dungate, and loved the town. Got involved with the planning commission several years ago. Then I ran for town council. And I have seen opportunities to make our town better, to grow. And we have a couple of guests here that have some questions.
Excuse me, that wasn't attention to that was a cough.
No worries.
Sorry.
Okay, Phyllis, give it your best. You want to come over and join me? It's okay.
No, this is fine.
Okay.
You could throw things at him from there.
Pardon?
You could throw things at him from there.
I don't throw things. I just give them back.
Oh, too bad. It's fun.
Okay.
Robert's rules does not recognize the term old business.
Louder,
It is referred to as,
just louder,
I'm sorry, what?
just a little louder, please.
Wear the
Louder,
mask?
speak louder. Speak
Speak
louder.
louder?
Yeah.
Okay. Robert's rules does not recognize the term old business. It is referred to as unfinished business. However, in Cathlamet, there are some really old business, not months, but years. What
Yes.
do you plan to do if you're reelected to finish the old business?
Well, the unfinished business, and I believe we call it old business simply out of tradition. It's pretty much listed that way in everybody's agenda, as saying old business as opposed to new business. Unfinished is, that's a good term. Let's start with Shoreline Park here, which is, in my opinion, it shouldn't be a park, it should be development. We have Erickson Park, we have Strong Park, there's a small park right next to the city town hall. What we need is some way to get people to come to our town to make us a destination spot as opposed to just a blip on the SR4 and let's just drive right by. We need to turn that into an endeavor that we can have kids from the high school work at, because once they graduate, there's nowhere for them to go. During the summer, there's not really anything for them to do other than work for their parents, which is not a bad thing, but they like to get out on their own. I know I did when I was a teenager. we need to give them something to look forward to. So I believe that whatever we do with shoreline development, we need to have it a self-sustaining entity. The town cannot afford to keep paying for another park. We can't afford to purchase areas and say, we've got it, let's turn it into a park. But we have enough parks already. We need something that'll bring business, that'll bring people to our town. Right next door here is the saloon that has been in enormous disrepair for, you're right, decades. It's absolutely a shame. It's a crime that such a historical building sits there and deteriorates. However, through the work of the county planning commission, through the work of the town, I'm not even sure what the name of it is. The gentleman that writes permits. We have started work on it, not the town, but we have insisted that they do. And they have started working on it. There's now a water system in there for fire suppression. They have started cleaning out all of the garbage that's in there. And they're going to start turning it back into a viable entity for our main street. There's no reason why that building has to be the way it is. And we are working on it. Yes, it's been there. It's been unfinished business for several decades. But we're working on it. This council that I helped spearhead, and I've been called an out-of-towner, I've been called inexperienced. Okay, that's all true. Only been here for about 5 years. But we're doing something now. We're not talking, we're not discussing, we're not yammering on about what we have to do this and we need to talk about that, and we need to discuss this. We need to do things. This town is not going to heal itself by talking. Okay, did I answer your question?
Yes, you did.
Okay. I'm still waiting for my wings to be painted back here. Be a little feisty.
Your other opponent claims that he does really well writing grants. Should you get in and not him, how do you plan to use his expertise? Or how do you plan to get more money into this town to do these renovations?
Good question. To begin with, my opponent has stated publicly to me and to others, if he does not win the mayor, he's done. He can take his marbles and go home. He's not going to continue being an active member of this town. He's said, I'm going to retire, I'm going to stop, I'm not going to do anything else. Oh, thanks, but we actually need people to be involved in our town. Win or lose, you need to be involved in our town. As for grants, yeah, he's written 2 or 3 that were successful for small amounts, great. But those small amounts cost our town money. What I have done is searching out different ways to save the town money. With the help of the town clerk, I know we talked about this earlier, but I want to reiterate it. We are applying for a new loan through the state that is not only shorter, but the interest rate is lower, and it's going to save about $1 million of town money over the life of the loan. Our wastewater treatment plant was foisted on us by the government of Washington. Nothing wrong with what we had. The lagoons were working just fine. In fact, the lagoons are what Shoreline Park is going to be. They worked fine. The environment liked it. People liked it. The animals liked it. The state said, no, you have to have something different. So, okay, $9 million later, we have a treatment plant that's big enough to do about the town the size of Longview. We're not Longview. We need more people on our system. And to do that, we have to go out and actively decide what we're going to do with our town. We're going to make it larger to get more people on it. Are we going to include Puget Island? These are all questions that have to be answered. We've got to figure out some way to save money. Right now, we're also saving money. Excuse me. We're also saving money by changing our sewer rates. We're in the process of it. I am in part of a committee along with Laurel Waller of the Cathlamet Hotel. And we are doing an in-depth dissertation. We're checking hard to find ways to lower our rates, because we can't have a small proportion of the community trying to support everybody. And if we charge everybody the same, at least the same basic rate, everybody's bill would go down. Because when you start spreading it out so that it's all equitable, everybody wins. That's not what we have right now. Okay.
Next question.
Go ahead.
Does the town have any thoughts of expanding the town line into the county, such as going past Jacobson Road and up the hill, which would give you a bigger tax base?
Yes. Right now, we're doing an LID, which is a limited investment district. We're trying to find out whether or not it would be not only environmentally safe, but economically safe. The state law says that you cannot pick and choose areas that you'd like to have part of the town. They must be next to each other. So before we can go across Bogey Road, before we can go across up to Greenwood, before we can go across SR4, we have to get to that place first. So across Jacobson, where Indian Village is, yes, that needs to become part of our town. There's no reason why we shouldn't be out to not only the SR4, but beyond, because that's part of us. We're all here. One of the things that I have tried very hard to do since I got here is talk to people all over the county, not just in the town of Cathlamet, because everybody comes here. I heard that a lot of people from Puget Island want to know if we're going to incorporate them into our town. I don't know the answer. They have some real strong pluses and they've got some real strong minuses. For example, if we were to incorporate Puget Island, then it becomes the town's problems of what we're going to do about the sand erosion from the river. It becomes our responsibility about the upkeep of the road, the upkeep of the water system. We already sell our water to them. Do we, if we incorporate them into our town, and I'm not saying that's good or bad, but if we look at it as a fait accompli, we're going to bring you in, that's not fair to them. We have to ask them, we have to have a plebiscite, a vote to say, you guys want to be part of us. They may not want to. They have the opportunity and the right to say, no, don't want to be part of you. Okay. They also have the right to say, yes, we want to be part of the town. We want to have a say in what's going on in Cathlamet. That's the same thing as going across the road up to Bogey Road or to Crags or excuse me, the golf course or Greenwood. All of those places have the right to say, no, we don't want to be part of your town.
With progress being made in Cathlamet and looking to the future to bring dollars into the community, what are you going to do about the parking problem? I went around here 3 times last Sunday just to come in here for brunch. Tuesday night, 4 times I went around, could not get a parking place. If we're going to have people come into our town, and we're going to spend a lot of money to encourage that, where do they park?
I agree. There's a bad parking problem. What I think we need to do is make sure that people know that there is other parking off of the street so that people that are disabled, people that are older, have somewhere to park so they don't have to walk upstairs, they don't have to walk up the hill. Excuse me. I also think we need to reinstate the, at least during the day, the parking limits. This town used to say, you can park here for 2 hours, then you gotta move your car. For 3 hours, then you have to move your car. Because right now, we're getting people that work at a business parking right in front, then there's no room for the customers. There's no room for anybody driving by on SR4 that wants to stop and smell the roses, smell Cathlamet, how beautiful we are here. So we need to make a better effort to indicate where parking is available, not just on Main Street, down here behind the Maria's or behind the saloon or behind the post office. There's other parking there out by the museum. There's parking there, the parking lot on Butler. And I think we also need to have an agreement maybe with the bank. Bank of the Pacific has a huge parking lot. And I understand they don't want people parking there during business hours, but in the evening when nobody's there and they're closed, maybe we can figure out some way to say, can we use them? Same thing with the pharmacy. They hate people that park there and walk across the street to go to the Spar or to go to the grocery store or to go next door to Suga Gallery or to come here to Maria's. And that's nothing wrong with that. They've got to have parking for their customers. Or they close at 6 o'clock. After 6 o'clock, maybe we can get some sort of agreement instead of just parking there willy-nilly as everybody does. Then we get a real agreement that says you can park here up till 10 o'clock or whatever. So yes, there are some solutions, but they have to be done. Part of the power of the mayor in this town is that he does all the hiring, he does all the firing, he does not make the laws, he does not decide whether or not the rates are going to be X, Y, or Z. That's up to the council. And the town council is the new one that we have in the last couple of years. We're working on it. We're working on trying to get it done.
If you had a system of timed parking, that would require somebody monitoring that service. Does the city have money to pay for those services?
Really good question. What they did in the past, which became a real problem, was having civic groups like the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or somebody that came along and marked the tire. And they did this on a volunteer basis. Problem with that is that during school hours, they're not there. And that's one of the times we need to have parking enforced. We have the money. Yes and no. If it's successful that we can get the tires marked or have people move their vehicles, it's a win-win situation. If they don't move it, they get a ticket, they pay the fine, we get some money or remuneration back from the ticket. Is it a good system? I don't know. I wasn't here when they did it before. I know they had problems because there wasn't proper training. Now, whether or not we can hire somebody on a part-time basis or even a contractual basis go out and do this, and do it properly with training, yeah, I think it'll work. Same thing you asked earlier about how am I going to get funding for the town? I believe that we ought to put aside some funds to pay for a private contractor or a independent contractor to look for grants for our town, because we're leaving a ton of money on the table. You look at Pacific County, you look at Cowlitz, all around us, counties are getting lots of money from grants from the state. We applied for a grant for the shoreline development. They said, yes, we'll put you on the list. But when the list came out, we were put on standby in case somebody else couldn't do it. Every town, with the exception of 2, every city, every grant that they put out had a minimum of 5,000 people in their city. That's not my guess. That's not a made up number. That's what they published. Every city that wanted a grant, that got a grant, had a minimum of 5,000 people with the exception of 2. That's not okay. That's so bad. We've got to do something with our state to say, hey, we're here. We pay our taxes. Some of that money should come back to us.
Okay, so your opponent claims to write grants, whether he gets to be mayor or stays on the council. Wouldn't you save yourself a ton of money by utilizing his skills to do what he said he could do?
If he wins mayor, then he's going to write the grants that he said he would.
Or if he doesn't win
If he
mayor,
doesn't win mayor, he said he's going to take his marbles and go home.
is that verifiable?
Ask him. He told me in front of witnesses, if I don't win mayor, I'm done. He's not going to be on the council anymore. His term runs out. So he has not said he would help in the future. He had not the planning commission, not anything. He's going to take his marbles and go home. Not going to play anymore. That's wrong. If he truly loves Cathlamet the way he says he does, that he cares about this town the way he says he does, why is he going to quit if he doesn't win?
Personally, I think I would like to have that verified.
Sure. Just ask him. I invited him to come down. I went to his press conference that he had at the SPAR, listened, I didn't say anything. David's a good guy. Don't get me wrong. He's a good guy. He really is. But if it's not about, as far as I can tell, if it's not about David, he's not really interested. He said, as an example, the sidewalks up at the school. He said, I need your vote because we're going to take care of it. And it's been for 2 years and it's going to run out. We're not going to be able to do it. Well, he's been on the council for 2 years. How come he hasn't done anything in those 2 years? He said, I will write the grant for the sidewalks. Time ran out yesterday. Is the grant written? I don't know. Even if the grant was written, it wasn't run by the council, who makes the decision on whether or not they're going to spend that money. It's really, really unfortunate that the response and taking responsibility. People in this town want it done, but like David, if I don't get what I want, I'm going to go home. Not going to play anymore.
I feel that today you should have the floor to tell this town what you are going to do and keep the negativity on the opponent out of it. He did not say any unkind words about you.
I have no desire to say anything bad about David. What I did was point out his obvious statements that he felt were true. And David's a good guy. He really is. I have said that from the time that I very first met him. Good guy. The town will be better off with myself or David as mayor. We will be better off. Doesn't matter if it's me or David. I think the town will be better off with me. I have owned my own business in the past. I know how to hire, I know how to fire, I know how to look forward about reserves, I know how to do budgeting. I have got, just to make sure that I know more of this, I went to the state and they have a series of programs that you can check into. And I earned a certificate of municipal leadership, and I didn't stop there. I'm still working on it to get, because there are 2 or 3 steps. I'm still learning. And I asked, when I first showed David my, oh my gosh, look at this, I got a certificate. His response, and you can ask him because it occurred down at the River Room, that he didn't need to do that because he already knew it. I'm always willing to learn new stuff. I'm not afraid to admit I don't know it all. What we need, what this town needs, more businesses. We need to decide, are we going to be a blip in the road as people goes by? Are we going to be an art town? Are we going to be a fishing town? Are we going to be a lumber town? Because as far as I can tell, in the last 2 mayors, we're like a ship out on the Columbia with no rudder. It just goes whichever way the current pushes it. Let me give you an example. Up the wastewater treatment plant. We had 2 pumps. They were important pumps that we had to have for that plant to run properly. One broke. They sent it out for repair and they put the second one in to fill in. That one broke. So our public works guys went out and they got at $100 a day, a temporary pump to work so that our plant didn't go down. And in the meantime, those 2 pumps sat there. And when I asked, where's the other pump? They didn't know. They had no idea where it was. How can you do that? How can you take a pump that costs $250,000 and you don't know where it's at? It was sitting at the manufacturer's warehouse because they had sent the mayor a letter a year earlier saying this is what it's going to take to fix it. Nothing happened. So it cost us $100 a day until they could find somebody to fix and repair one of the pumps, put it back in. And now we've got to go out and buy a new pump because the old one, the very first one that broke, it's not repairable. If we had taken care of it at that point in time, we probably could have got it fixed for free because it was virtually brand new. Pumps should last more than 10 years. It's ludicrous. The amount of money this town has lost just through incompetence is enormous. I tried to get a assets management plan going. In fact, I'm still working on it. Our town clerk did a great job. She had all the information that I had requested because with assets management, you know what equipment you have, how old it is, what's the repair date, what has been repaired on it. So that when it comes time to budget, you can say, oh, This needs a new one. We started planning for this piece of equipment 3 years ago because we knew it was going to have to be replaced. When I requested it from the Public Works Department, I was told, we don't have time for it right now. It's going to have to be sometime in the winter when we're inside, not outside. Okay, maybe if we'd had that in place, maybe if they had done their job properly, maybe if there had been some leadership in the town, we wouldn't be in a position of looking for a $250,000 pump for virtually a brand new plant. It's just crazy. This month, we found out that we need a new pump for the water plant, not the wastewater, but the regular water plant. And we were told initially it was going to cost maybe $50,000. Not an insignificant amount of coin. We have the reserves to buy that. Yeah, if we stretched and pushed hard. But when the bid came back from the manufacturer on that pump, they said it was going to be around $500,000, $500,000 that we don't have at the point to fix this. How come? How come our leadership for this town, and it's going to change, it will change because our current mayor is going to be out. He lost in the primaries. Good or bad, he's gone. It will change. However, through my learning, through my association with people in the wastewater and water treatment areas, I have learned a lot, a whole lot. One of the first things that I did when I moved here, went up and took a tour. Looked around, talked to people, found out, hey, yes, we're doing the tests that they told us to. Got a brand new, a new plant here. It's great. However, they're not doing the necessary maintenance. In fact, they don't even have a maintenance plan. The people that built it gave them one, and I quote, in binders up at the plant somewhere. We need some leadership. Ready to step into that position.
Okay, as mayor of this town,
5 minutes.
Is that a high five?
5 minutes.
5 minutes? We got 5 minutes.
as mayor of this town, to me, it would be your responsibility to make these other entities of town more accountable, to prove paperwork, to show you what is being done and not done. And the lines of communication need to be better. You're at the top of the wheel. The buck stops with you. Be the boss to tell them they need to give you those reports updated. Why is that so hard?
It's not. It hasn't been asked so. The mayor has to ask. The mayor has to do his job. I'm quite capable of asking. I've asked as a council member. And I asked our public works director during a meeting, he said, well, I didn't do that because it's not my priority. Okay, fine. What is your priority? I want a priority list. What I was given was a list of mundane tasks that have to be done all the time. That's not a priority. That's a list that you have to do. A priority is, oh, I don't know, let's find out how much reserves we have, whether or not we have enough to fix things when they break. That's a priority. Mowing the lawn in front of the town hall, not a priority. Mundane task. So yes, I will ask for answers. I will ask for the reports.
Sometimes, as the top of the helm, you need to tell them, not just ask, that this needs to be done. The leadership starts with you,
Yes,
and it needs to
absolutely.
be enforced.
Yes. As I said, I am highly cognizant of how to hire and on the other hand, how to fire. The last time that we hired somebody for a major position at our town, I had questions, David had questions, Bill Wainwright had questions. We all had questions. The mayor hired that person without asking any questions. He hired him because he said it was a payback for his loyalty to the town. And that's. So, Phyllis, have I answered your questions?
You have answered my questions. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
Want to summarize?
Yes, I would like to summarize. Town's going to be better off whether I am the mayor or David is the mayor or this young lady that threw her hat into the ring just very recently. Never met her, don't know anything about her. Wish her well. Hopefully it'll be a learning experience for her and that she will become involved in our town as opposed to just a very late comer. Oh, I want to try it. We need people to come to our town and invest in it. We cannot do it all by ourselves. I've been working with the state economic development to try and get people, to try and get money, to try and get businesses to come to our town. I will continue that. I have a stake in this town. My wife has a stake in this town. We moved here because we love the area, we love the town, and we love the people. I want to see it get better. I can do that as the mayor. I can do that as a town council member, which I have been doing for the last couple of years. I think I can have a better impact, a larger impact as mayor. So I'm asking for you to vote for me. I am the responsible choice. Thank you.